Welcome back, everybody, to Businesses Building Bridges. I'm Diane Campbell, and I have our co-host here today, Ms. Shara Brodsky. Welcome to the show again.
Oh, hello, and thank you for listening, listeners. So today, I'm excited to introduce...
Yes, a good day in the neighborhood.
It's always a good day. Mr. Eddie Santos.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How are you?
Welcome to the podcast, Eddie. We spent close to 3 hours with each other yesterday.
True.
Going over some business, and tell our listeners what you do.
So I am the founder and the owner of Santos Wealth Management and Santos Group Insurance. So we basically help families protect what they have with the insurance side, and the investment side basically get more gains or make your money grow for you the most tax efficient way.
That's I'm glad someone knows how to do that, because I have no clue.
It's definitely a foreign language.
It is a foreign language, and we were I was deer in the headlights when I left there, because he was doing all the verbiage and wheeling and dealing on the phone with our entity we were dealing with, and by the end of that session, I needed to go home and take a nap.
Hopefully a better nap.
But I really respect folks like you who are doing this kind of stuff, that are watching out for your client. And one of the things that differentiates you is the fiduciary aspect of it, which I didn't really understand that until I met you and you explained that. So tell our audience what that means in terms of dealing with a wealth advisor.
So basically the difference is a regular financial advisor will basically put you hopefully into good stuff, but they usually have a hidden agenda to make more commissions. So as a fiduciary, legally, contractually bound by law, we have to do what's in best interest for you at all times. Not think with our pockets, but do what's best for you in your instance right now.
Mm-hmm. We all have to make money, and you're making money. A wealth advisor makes money. I mean, I understand that's the way the world goes around. We have families and bills to pay and all that. But how serious is the fiduciary aspect of it versus a wealth advisor?
So a regular wealth advisor, you do something stupid, or if you do something not in your best interest for a client, get suspended, maybe a fee here and there. As a fiduciary, you go to jail.
Okay.
So
that's pretty serious.
It's a higher bar. So it's the biggest thing is doing what's in best interest of the client, not thinking of our own pockets.
What's the motivating factor for doing a fiduciary, knowing that the risk is so high for if you mess up?
Well, the truth comes down is in any business, you should be doing what's best for the client to begin
right.
with. So if you're doing what's best interest for the client, then you really have nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a better tier, better practice to be in, per se. We run the same thing with the agency, for the insurance agency, best interest of the client. If a client comes to us and says, hey, we have XYZ for an insurance carrier, can you beat it? Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But the best part is telling the client, look, you're in a good spot, don't change what you have. And then 9 times out of 10, they come back 6 months or a year later to reshop out that venue again.
That's being fully transparent with your clients. I love that part. So
I would love Eddie to explain how he even got into both of these businesses. Let everybody know, why are you doing this and what is your passion?
So it's a long story, but we'll make it real short. So I was actually in school to become a police officer. So criminal justice, want to be a cop my whole life, want to be a Marine my whole life. Family cried, you can get killed, so that never worked out. So one night we're loitering at a local gas station, and this guy pulls up in a Ferrari, and we're like, all right, nice car. Next week, guy pulls up in a Bentley. So I'm like, all right, this guy's doing something good. And then we finally talk to the guy. We're like, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I'm a financial advisor. I'm a stockbroker. So the movie Boiler Room just came out. I'm like, yeah, no interest. They pulls up with a Lamborghini the week after. I'm like, it's like that? He goes, it's like that. So I'm like, all right. Went in, tried it, and became a cold caller. Had a good gift of just get the gab, talking on the phone. And then got licensed. And then at that point, built a career off that. Did a lot of investment banking, pre-IPOs, a lot of high net worth clientele, not dealing with the regular public per se. And then at that point, semi-retired, came down to Florida, decided to be a full-time baseball dad. House gets destroyed from a hurricane. I have no idea what's going on with insurance. Call my local guy. I'm like, hey, what do I do? The guy goes, oh, call claims. You'll be done 1, 2, 3, no big deal. So I call him back saying, what's the process? How's the whole thing actually work? And he tells me, I don't get paid to help you. So at that point, I got pretty offended. So I decided.
Sorry for my jaw hitting the ground here. Isn't that what they're supposed to do?
So at that point, I decided, let's learn insurance. Went to a local State Farm agency, learned insurance. At that point, about a year later, opened up Farmers Insurance up at St. Augustine. Made it the top, I guess, the second largest producing office in 5 months at Farmers. Had a falling out with a business partner, and then opened up the Santos Group Insurance at that point, become a broker. So it was a crazy roller coaster, and then it just happened to be a good business and got a lot bigger than expected real quick.
Well, it just seems like your wealth, not even just wealth in general, but your knowledge is like, where does this come from? Because it's not something I feel like that you can just learn. It's got to be something that's a gift.
It becomes experience. So you realize what to do and what not to do, what works and what doesn't work. And then when it comes to managing people's money, it's like, you have the privilege to do that. So why not do the best job for them? Like I said, some cases people come in and they have a really good portfolio. And at that point, I can't make it any better, but maybe make it cheaper. But then when you throw out the fiduciary role, it's like, it becomes a lot easier to people to trust you at that point. At that point, you just hold your side of the bargain. You do the best job for them.
It's true, but just trying to understand what you put out there is difficult because you know it. Mm-hmm. And I know that you try so hard to like people to try to understand what you're saying, but it's just so much information. Just like you once said, you went home and needed a nap. Yes. I think most people do because you just spend like so much time trying to explain, but it's still just, I feel like, oof.
Well, it's like learning another language.
It really
is. It's like, oh my God, how you get there? But after doing it repetition, and doing it constantly, do it the right way, it becomes second nature. It's not, you're not saving the manatees per se. At that point, it just becomes, you try to do the best for the client at that point.
Wow, it's amazing, really.
So did you work in the New York Stock Exchange at some point?
Worked on Wall Street.
Wall Street, okay.
So I grew up in
your teeth there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Long Island, had multiple offices throughout Long Island, traveled to Manhattan a few times, had some offices there. But that's where basically when you learn in the Series 7, the books to learn to do that kind of stuff, go to college for it's one thing, but applying it to real life is completely different.
Oh, well,
so that becomes more like experience and knowledge and just having experience of what happened in the past, and what works and what doesn't work, and how to treat a client the right way.
I like what you said about having the privilege to represent a client and their finances. I mean, that is, it's their whole world.
Yeah, it becomes a very intimate relationship.
It's intimate. It's permanent if it's done incorrectly, and there's only so much runway there for a family to make the wise choices and have that legacy available for their family. So
100%. But it's a cool feeling. I mean, doing it for 25 plus years, having clients from day one, seeing their kids grow, grandkids grow. Like I said, it's a very large privilege because, again, you're not just doing someone's insurance. You're doing something that they rely on in the future that they're going to need. And if you do something stupid, it's a big consequence.
It's a legacy. You're helping them. I'm going to use the metaphor, building a bridge into the future of your client's family and legacy. That's the building the bridge part. How do you take what you know in terms of knowledge and reach out into the community to get new clients?
So we do seminars.
Okay.
For example, in November, we hosted one at the Portuguese American Club. I'm Portuguese, by the way. So for me, having 17,000 Portuguese has been very easy. But we do seminars. We teach people, obviously word of mouth. But I would say 95% of my clients are all word of mouth clients. We don't advertise for the investment side. We do very light advertising for the insurance. But it's basically referral based for the most part.
That speaks a lot.
Which is the best kind of client.
Right. That's what we want is a good referral. How do you get someone who may have reservations? I know you. I know you from networking. I know you from another networking group. How do you build that second level of trust or overcome emotions or embarrassment? Well, I'm not at this place. We're dirt poor. How do you get them to open up to give you the information you need to help them?
That's a challenge.
It is a challenge. As I've felt that way in the past. Not anymore, but I've gotten over that. But
the best way I try to explain to people is like, the more I know about someone, the more I can guide you. Because I can't tell you what to do and how to do it if I don't know anything about you. So I use an analogy basically saying, look, you go to the doctor's office, you have a growth in your neck. You don't want the doctor says, oh, it's cancer, let's cut it out. You want a biopsy. You want maybe a blood panel done, CAT scan, x-rays, whatever the case is, and take a bird's eye approach. At that point, just being transparent and real. If if you're real with someone with no hidden agenda, people divulge the craziest things to me.
it's your
But it's like, it's like going to the doctor. I mean, you hear crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just about helping them. You can't help everybody, but if you say, look, this is how it is, this is how it's presented. If it makes sense, okay. If it doesn't, then you're in a good spot.
It's kind of like a lawyer.
Right.
It can't help you if they don't know all the details.
Yeah.
And you're not going to cry if you don't get that client.
No.
It's just next.
It's, what we charge, we don't make a lot of money off clients to begin with. We go by volume. So if we have, say $100 million under management, you make good money. If you have $1 million under management, you're making $1,000 for the year, or 10 grand for the year. So it's not like, huge commissions. We don't charge a commission. We charge an advisory fee just to advise on how to manage it. But it's just being real.
I want to go back so you can tell the listening audience how you winded up in Palm Coast.
So my father and mother-in-law were in Palm Coast, and then the wife and the kid, the wife of my first son, came here on vacation, and they never left. And at that point, they stayed there, and we traveled back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And you were in New York.
I was in New York. And at that point,
how about that?
years later, we decided, okay, let's be I'll be full-time here while they were full-time here.
And what year was that?
Goodness.
I just love to dive into
I would say maybe
stories.
2017.
Okay.
I became full-time resident of Palm Coast. So, 8 years?
Okay. Long enough to see what Palm Coast is about.
Yep. For lack of a better term.
What do you like about it, Palm Coast?
I'm biased. I'm Portuguese. A lot of Portuguese community.
That's the part I love about this area because it's ethnic.
Very diverse.
Yeah, where I moved from in Atlanta, it was pretty vanilla in one sector, but here it's more ethnic.
It's a small niche community, and I feel that having an up north work ethic, if you do anything right and do it to a higher degree par, you'll be successful in life. I feel there's a lot of shortcuts down here. People, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but they may be a little bit more lazier per se. Nothing towards
the Florida lifestyle.
It's more laid back, but it's a beautiful place. Hard to get depressed seeing palm trees every day.
Yeah, sunshine.
But it's Florida. I love Florida.
Yeah.
Compared to New York, I loved New York, but now it's like when I go back, it's
Feel the same way.
it's gloomy.
Yeah. Is there anything you dislike about being here?
In Palm Coast, is nothing to do. Not much to do. Especially having a 14-year-old turning 15 and a 4-year-old. It's hard. So
for young families.
Yeah, it's a lot of Orlando, Jacksonville, Daytona, a lot of driving everywhere. Especially for the older boy plays baseball. It's Palm Coast has a lot of kids. My wife and I used to be on the board of directors for Palm Coast Little League. There's about 700 kids that play baseball here and softball. Wow. Not many travel organizations, not many metrics to make kids better, batting cages, that kind of stuff. You have to go to either Ormond Beach, Daytona, Jacksonville, Orlando to really
If you got a
explore.
pickleball racket, go get them, Flagler County. It's true. I mean, I know that they tried to get a YMCA, and I think we had one, and then we didn't have one, and that is a pretty big drawback, I'd say.
I think it's a little harder to do things in Palm Coast. They're very nitty gritty, which could be good and bad. It's got
slow to make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely is a problem. I know. We won't even get into that. Maybe another episode.
That's definitely another episode.
A whole other episode, yes. So, what else do we have for Mr. Eddie?
I want to know, have you had any personal challenges, health related, physical related, relational related, that you've had to overcome in order to keep the business moving forward?
Luckily, with for example, the insurance agency, we have a large support staff. So we have 10 customer service reps, some in Tampa, some in Georgia. So that's been fine. I had bladder cancer about 4 years ago. So that was a little bit of a challenge. Luckily, it wasn't anything too crucial. It was a quick procedure that got done. Besides that, family, a lot of health issues with family, parents, live in Portugal, per se. That became a little bit of a challenge, but nothing too crazy. I guess I could say I've been blessed for the most part.
Yeah. I have a question. A young person wants to be financially stable. What is the advice you would give them? I mean, I'm talking about someone who is minimum wage earner. They see that they could be financially stable. And I know that some financial advisors have a buy-in, you have to have $500,000 in the bank. Well, how are you going to get that unless you are financially planning? What advice can you give them for that?
So we have a minimum of $100,000
Okay.
for ourselves. What I tell a younger couple is if they are offered a 401k at their company that they work for, put as much possible in there. Be frugal. Eat less. Don't spend stupidly, or poor choices. Because most people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s do not have enough to retire. They don't have what they should have at that level.
Some of them don't have anything. It's hand to mouth.
And they're stuck at that point. They're not going to buy a house. They're going to rent for the rest of their life.
Right.
Which should be cheaper buying a house. But that mental mind block of saying, hey, now I'm financially strapped for 30 years paying a loan. You're going to pay it regardless, paying someone else's rent. But to show them the metrics of building a budget. What goes in, what comes out.
So a budget is a good place to start.
Budget's huge because if they're spending more they're taking in, they're never going to be able to set up something for the future. The goal is when you're like in your 40s, 50s, to have something where if you're making, say, $80,000 a year, your retirement or your vehicle can make as much to replace that. So this way, when you do transition to be fully retired, you have an income source to rely on, a stable income source. As you get older, you get less riskier. When you're younger, a lot more risk because you have a lot more time to accumulate assets.
To mess things up.
To make to make more money. So this way you can harbor money, save money.
Right.
But the biggest thing is being more frugal and don't spend your money on just things to spend it. Put things in the future for yourself.
I think it's hard for young kids to even, because I'm just thinking, my mentality when I was that age is, I want to live for now. I don't want to worry about not spending on this or not going on this vacation because I need to spend, save that $30 here and next. I'm like, $30, whatever. But, you don't really realize that. And I feel like it's so important that the Flagler education maybe needs a little bit more education.
See, I wish when I was in high school, they taught credit cards. They taught about credit card debt. They talked about simple things in life like, hey, save some money for a rainy day.
Just adulting.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing that? I mean, and that's not just here. That's across the whole U.S.
And I think the biggest thing, too, is that, working for someone's one thing, but if you could be your own entrepreneur and build something for yourself, at that point, you have more luxuries because you're not just a boss, you become a leader at that point. But if you can guide someone the right way of doing things and more importantly, show them, hey, don't do this when you're young. Do this, the crucial step of having financial freedom or even life insurance. If you're 20 years old, $1 million policy might cost you on a term policy like $20-$30 a month. The same policy when you're 40 might cost you $200 a month. But if you need it, you need it. If you're not here, there's no point of being here at that point. Your family is going to be, lack of a better term, screwed.
Yeah. I think we all have this, at least some of us do, have this mindset that I could take care of that later. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next year. Why do I have to do that now? And that's not the mindset we need to have because time flies and situations happen and you end up, in your 50s and you have no savings or nothing to put towards retirement. It's always bugged me that the young people aren't being set up for that kind of success unless they have a college degree, unless they have a budget plan and someone to teach them how to do that.
Even having strict parents just saying, no, save your money, save your money. Yep. It's funny. One of our persons in our group made made a comment that really hit hard, and I use it now. It was David Paul, the health insurance guy. And he was saying that you're born with a bullet coming to your head. So as you get older, that bullet's getting closer and closer. You don't know when that bullet's going to hit you.
Okay.
But at that point, but the key is, you don't know when the time comes. Why not protect yourself with the insurance? Because insurance protects what you have now and make sure that if something happens catastrophic, you're made whole. Where investments, is basically taking what you're earning and making it grow. And this way you have another Diane, you have another Shara in the future that can make the money for you. And if you do it the right way, when you're younger, it's going to suck because you're not making as much money. You're saving your money. But if you're disciplined, you can have a huge, huge lump sum. And now when you're in your 60s, 70s, you can retire and say, look, I'm comfortable. I can do what I want, go where I want to go, and I still have money left over.
I think for me, that's just the hardest thing is, again, like, how do you make that balance of living for now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, versus the next 30 years, you know?
So when you're young, you want to start like maybe putting 10% of your paycheck away, 20% of your paycheck away. And as you get more disciplined and more into your adolescent life, at that point, maybe consider putting 40% of your income away, because that's going to be your future. And you have to look at the time frame or the time value of money, that the longer you have money invested, compounding money and interest becomes big amounts of money. It could be if you do it the right way. But the same aspect, the devil's aspect is, if you do it the wrong way, one bad choice, one bad decision can wipe you out as well. So you got to have some type of guidance and some kind of, I guess, a mentor, someone who cares a little bit, shows you the ropes on how to do and what to do the best way.
And that's you.
I could try today.
Yeah, mostly it's you.
That was funny. I was looking at for my woodworking business at piggy banks, right? So there's a 3-compartment piggy bank: tithe, save, spend. How do you feel about that?
I love it.
So, in my 20s, what would be my tithe, save, spend?
I would say probably 10, 20% you want to save. Spend maybe 40.
That's like Starbucks,
Yeah.
coffee, or DoorDash. I mean, these young people are ordering DoorDash, and don't you understand how much money that's going to cost you to have that thing come to your house?
Because you get charged more. So if you get pizza on DoorDash, that $18 pizza might cost you $25. And you give the tip at that point.
So that's, tithe, giving to a charity is important. Would you recommend that for a young person?
All depends on their budget.
Right.
So if
all
they
depends.
feel strong about a certain outfit, whether it's a church or a local community they want to give away, they need a deduction on their taxes. If it makes sense and they're not strapping themselves, then go for it. If it's not in their picture right now, then and there to do it, probably not the best option. So it really depends on how strong they feel about it.
What they can do is donate their time. So that would be, I'm going to tithe my time to that. The save part for a 20-year-old would be 10%.
I would say, listen, like if you want to save, start with 10, 20%, because you have your necessities that you need to live: car payment, rent, mortgage, cell phone bill, the necessities that you have to have no matter what. Then you have to have fun. There's no point in living
There's
if you
the
can't,
spend part.
You can't enjoy
I
something.
think a good portion of them spend a lot of time in the spend part and not a lot of time in the save part.
Well, it's living for the now.
They're living
Really,
for the
you know,
now.
that's the thing. Again,
This is-
finding that
I
balance.
want it. I want when I want it.
And then is it more upsetting to not have it, and you're depressed, and the whole mentality just changes because I can't do it because I have to save, and then what if something happens? It's just finding that emotional, mental.
I think also the biggest part is a lot of people, younger people, generations, don't really talk to the elders about what their experiences are. And you learn from prior experiences. Learn what works, learn what doesn't work. Speaking to grandma, grandpa, speaking to your parents more freely, saying, hey, I want to go out there and buy the XYZ. Is it smart to do it right now? It's probably not the best decision.
Do you feel that society puts pressure on our young people to get XYZ?
Yeah. Everything's targeted marketing.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, even look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola branded Santa Claus. So without Coca-Cola, there would be no Santa Claus,
That guy
really.
doesn't work for the North Pole anymore?
Because think about it. In wintertime, there was really low sales in Coca-Cola. Why not brand Santa Claus become something really, really big, and now everyone buys Coca-Cola?
Yeah, marketing is a strong force out there, but we have our kids have cell phones, they have e-bikes. I mean, it seems like parents keep getting them to the level of what peers are wanting.
Also programmed.
Program.
Probably different.
Explain that.
All right. So, like, if you go on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, commercials, people get paid commercials. Same thing with video games. You do an online game or a cell phone game, there's a commercial. They're going to entice you to do something. You see it long enough, so many times throughout the day, and that becomes like, wait a second, I remember something in the back of my head. I saw something, and you see it again. You're a mild form of brainwashing. But they're smart. They use movie stars for certain things. They use certain
Influencers.
to create an atmosphere or a genre of what they want to gear you towards, and it works.
Breaking through that static for any age is hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Discipline. You have to be disciplined.
And it's
you don't want to
hard.
be disciplined.
It's hard for a younger generation to do that.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah. Then you have Amazon, which,
Oh, it's such easy access.
touch of the button and it's done. It's at your door the next day.
Yeah.
My son, my 4-year-old, he was 3 at the time. This was maybe 2 months ago. Ordered like $500 worth of stuff, inflatables on Amazon. Had no idea until it showed up. I'm like, who bought this? My wife's like, I didn't buy that. I'm like, I didn't buy it either. Axel bought it online because it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
So easy. So it's like that was a funny experience.
But a reality check.
How did
No,
you
like 4 years
explain
old,
that
3 years
to
old.
him?
You say you can't do it, man. Like, what are you doing? He goes, well, you guys buy things, but it's not
Right.
like that. It's not like that. But
They don't see green, exchanging hands. Not that a 4-year-old would understand that currency equals things, but
so
kind of
it's
funny.
trying to explain the time value of money. So saying, for example, someone makes $100,000 a year, it might be $30 an hour per se, and you want that XYZ gift that costs $100. Hey, that's 2.5 hours of your parents' life working, doing something to achieve that goal. You have a mortgage, you have
Right.
rent, you have bills, electricity, water bills, that kind of stuff. Do you give the kid something, or do you pay your rent? And some parents, I want to make a kid happy, or they'll do things that's not in the best interest. Now you're behind the 8 ball, and you're working to get out of it.
And then you're in this vicious cycle. You
Yeah.
can't
there
break.
it goes.
And
We're
then
a
you're
consumer
owned.
society.
You're owned
Yeah,
by
oh.
corporate America.
Yes. And it's been like that for decades.
And that's why
unfortunately.
credit cards should be taught in high school
Yes.
and
Back
how it
to
works.
that,
The
yeah.
importance, because that affects your car insurance rates, your credit, it affects
Everything.
mortgages, it affects loans, it affects availability, a lot of different variables that they don't talk about,
That you
unfortunately.
can get totally ruined at 18 years old. It could be all over for you before you even know it. You get that first credit card.
Well, that's like, they don't understand that it's attached
Well, like you
to
said-
your bank account.
And like you said earlier, there's no exchange of money. Has anybody seen Schitt's Creek? The show? Same thing. I mean, they no exchange of money. They have no idea like what money actually means because it's just spending it and buying it. And what do you mean? I can't get that.
It's all digitalized now.
And
You
we're
don't feel
heading
it.
into we're in a cashless society for the most part. I was amazed when I went to Italy. I didn't have to open my wallet for anything to give cash or exchange currency.
Now it's on the
all
phone.
just tap.
Yeah. And
Tap
the
it.
phone now too.
And it's going to be a lot crazier when crypto gets a little bit more influenced at that point. Crypto's either going to make the society or break the society.
Oh,
But it's
boy.
coming regardless. You like it or not, it's coming.
Right. Just like AI.
You can't stop that train.
No.
So, Eddie, I can't believe we're at the end of this podcast already. We have a few minutes left. Tell our audience how they can reach you and to set up an appointment to sit down with you.
So with the insurance agency, it's 386-597-1112. The wealth management office is 386-200-1099. We have full staff. The investment firm is strictly me by myself. I really don't trust people to manage other people's money, especially being the fiduciary. Most
That's
advisors
interesting.
want
Yes.
to charge more, and we have a strict way of doing what we do. It works. But that's basically it for the most
More
part.
of a reason to call Eddie. Right?
Exactly.
That just statement right there just said a lot about
Mm-hmm.
him.
You go into his office and it's just Eddie there. He has many desks, but there's no one
There's
sitting
just
there.
one Eddie.
I know you were looking for someone who spoke Portuguese and could at least help you along. Was that the insurance?
Insurance side,
Okay.
yeah, the insurance side. That is
Right.
where we have, like I said, 10 customer service reps that help big time. But the wealth advisory, we're very meticulous on what we do and how we do it, and a lot of advisors don't agree with it.
Oh boy, well there goes another episode.
Another episode.
Fantastic.
So we're so grateful you're here today and spending time with us, with me personally and my husband yesterday for 3
I
hours.
appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity.
Yes, we're excited for what our money can do through your techniques and skill set. But we'd like to have you back again another time.
Okay.
In the meantime, that's it for today.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Unbelievable.
Appreciate
Thank
you guys.
Thank you.